Liberty Nation. Truth is making a comeback.
Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation's Liberty Nation TV. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. Today on LNTV, I'm joined by the far too talented Mr. Jeff Charles to discuss an issue that is pretty much the talk of the nation right now. Almost everyone has a view on government welfare. With the latest Trump executive order on strengthening work requirements to receive it, we have to ask ourselves, is this really going to help people get back to work, or are we just penalizing those who are having a run of bad luck? Jeff, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, what does this executive order actually do?
So the executive order itself doesn't implement any work requirements on welfare systems just yet. Basically, it's designed to, it basically calls on various departments like the Department of Homeland Security, Housing and Urban Development, to identify areas where work requirements can help, whether it's additional work requirements or beefing up the ones that we already have. So basically, the head of each department is supposed to get back to the White House within 90 days to give a report on areas where they could implement these requirements and maybe areas where they might not be as effective.
Okay. I mean, that's far less traumatic than I've been reading about in, let's say, the popular press. Far less traumatic.
Yes.
Okay, so it's essentially trying to bring together different ideas into the soup, sort of thing.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, there are going to be additional work requirements for welfare recipients, but it's not quite at that point just yet. This is basically exploring the idea, paving the way for that.
Okay, so do you think in the long term this kind of approach will actually work, or will it just alienate people?
I think it's all in how it's implemented. I mean, the work requirement programs aren't necessarily 100% perfect, and there's some legitimate criticisms people can make about them. But overall, if they're done the right way, they can help people get off of welfare. And really, the whole philosophy behind welfare in the beginning was not to keep people on it. The whole idea was to get them off of it. So in states like Maine and in Maine and Oklahoma, they implemented work requirements, and they had very positive results when it came to increasing the average income of the people that were receiving these benefits and also getting more people back to work. The other benefit is that it saved taxpayers money because that's less money being spent on welfare programs.
Yeah, it's funny, really, that it's unfortunate in many ways that many people have fallen into it's almost a lifestyle trap. And I guess the longer that you're in the system, in the welfare system, the more difficult it is to get out. Hopefully, there are some things here that will address breaking the cycle of it's almost a welfare dependency. So, I mean, when we take this in tandem with Donald Trump's proposal to allow states to do required drug testing to receive food stamps, I know this is a very different thing, but if we take them in tandem, is this part of an overall reform package that's coming out, or am I reading too much into that?
Yes, so it could be part of an overall welfare overhaul. Not quite sure about that yet. I mean, we did have welfare reform in 1996, and different states were able to do what they wanted as far as work requirements. In 2009, President Obama did rescind those work requirements due to the recession. But either way, I mean, when it comes to drug testing, that is a part that Trump is looking into. I'm not sure that would alienate anybody. I mean, as far as the taxpayers are concerned, if we're paying our taxes into this program, then naturally we want to make sure that they're not using it to get drugs. Now, the majority of people on welfare are not using food stamps to get drugs, but there are some that do. And that does need to be addressed. A lot of people do take advantage of the food stamp program. Some will obtain food stamps and then sell them for a certain number of cents on the dollar. So there is a little bit of malfeasance there. But again, it's not the majority of people who are receiving these benefits.
Yeah, it actually makes me wonder if I know it'd be a huge task to stamp down on all the malfeasance with this, but I wonder if people's overall feelings of generosity towards the people who do genuinely have to take food stamps to live, to eat. I wonder if we knew for a fact there were no malfeasance at all, that whether people wouldn't feel a little better about this assistance program, because that's what it is. It's assistance for people who are in need. And as you know, I mean, America and Britain, we're very generous nations in terms of charity, especially when it's not purposely taken out of our paychecks first, in our natural giving, especially conservatives. And I wonder if people wouldn't feel a lot happier about welfare, and it wouldn't have quite the stigma attached to it that it does, if we were sure that there were zero cheating going on with this. Anyway,
Yes.
sorry, back to the plot. So already we've had complaints from, let's call them the usual suspects on the left, but also from some voices on the right. I mean, I've read that this will negatively impact black communities more than others, and is therefore, it's like a racist executive order. Now, I have a hard time believing that, because, I mean, there's just poor people. There's just so many poor people, and they're pretty much every color under the sun. And the one thing they have in common is not their skin color, but their poverty. I mean, that's my point of view. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, exactly. The important part is the fact that people are in poverty. And like I said before, this could negatively impact people if it's not rolled out the right way. As far as it being racist, I mean, I don't know that people really even hear that anymore, because I've said many times, if Donald Trump sneezes, people will say that that's a racist sneeze. So anything he does is going to be racist to them.
It's the white handkerchief he uses.
The one that he wears on his head. No, I'm kidding. No, he doesn't. Trump does not wear a white hood. No, he doesn't. He's not part of the KKK. I'm joking. But anyway, but yeah, it might be the white handkerchief. Who knows? It could just be the fact that he has an R next to his name. I think that's really what it is. Yeah. But either way, it's in states like Oklahoma, there are black people there who are on welfare, who got off of it because of the work requirements. So overall, this is going to help Americans of all skin colors, again, if it's rolled out the right way, like they did in Oklahoma. So I think that's really what we need to focus on, making sure that this is done in the right way, to make sure that we're preventing any type of fraudulent activity with it. And like you said before, you're right, people will feel better about paying taxes toward these programs if they know that there's no malfeasance going on. As it is right now, the idea that the majority of welfare recipients abuse the system, that's actually a bit of a myth. Something that a lot of conservatives believe, because that's what's told to them. And also, I mean, people have gone to the grocery store and seen people use their food stamps on things that maybe we don't think they should. That can be a whole different debate, and that's fine. We should debate those things. But at the same time, most people who are on welfare don't want to be there. And I think, yes, and I think work requirements will help put them in a better position to transition out of those programs and become less dependent on the government.
Good. All right, now, just for once on Liberty Nation, just for fun, let's try and actually put some solutions out there instead of just the news and analysis that we usually do. So, Jeff, in your own opinion, give me your top 2 ideas for getting struggling Americans who are perhaps caught in this cycle, for getting them back to work. Your top 2.
Yeah, I would say one of the top 2 would be work requirements. When people are able to work their way out of dependency on the government, 1, it puts them in a better financial position, but 2, it does give them that sense of pride. People, if you told a welfare recipient that tomorrow you can either have a job that's going to take care of what you needed to take care of, or you can stay on welfare, they're going to pick taking the job. Oh, yeah. Because realistically, I mean, if you get a good enough job at a good enough company, you're going to earn way more than you would get on welfare, and you have that sense of achievement. So I do think work requirements will help as far as getting people to depend more on themselves and less on the government. 2, I think, is already going on. The economy is getting better. Tax reform passed. Companies aren't as burdened by regulations as they were previously. So this has helped the unemployment rate in the black community and for the rest of America. So as long as the Trump administration and Congress keeps on that path, we're going to continue to see more people getting back to work and less people on welfare programs.
Excellent. Some good ideas, Jeff. Jeff Charles, solving the problems of the nation right here on libertynation.com. Right.
Problem solved. It's all done.
Wonderful. Right, thank you so much for being here, Jeff, and shedding some light on this topic. It's always a pleasure to have you on Liberty Nation TV. And again, a huge thank you to you at home for watching. Jeff has an article on libertynation.com right now that covers this exact topic. And you can, of course, visit our site to see more videos, podcasts, radios, and articles. It would be great for us if you could subscribe and leave a comment down below. Let us know your ideas on getting folk back into jobs. Until next time, I'm Mark Angelides, and you've been watching Liberty Nation TV.
Liberty Nation. News and commentary, minus the propaganda. LibertyNation.com.